Look at this. I get back to my car and the tire is flat. What's happening, guys? Jack Jones here. Welcome to another Motivation Monday. And today I am taking a rainy stroll in the Rockbridge State Park that's south of town. This is my favorite trail out here, and I came out here because I was starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed by stress. So now that things have been picking up in the last couple of weeks, you know, I've been adding more and more on my schedule, and it's brought me to a familiar territory of feeling kind of stressed out. And so that's what this video is going to be about, is talking about having a conscious stress response rather than an unconscious stress response. Now, if you're watching this video, you probably don't have a conscious plan for dealing with your stress, because I think that's one of the things that holds us back from really achieving kind of the lives that we want, is the people who are very successful are able to manage their stress really well so that they can continue on through stressful situations. And I think really being stressed out and not having a good plan for dealing with stress is one of the reasons that people quit so many of the things that they do. So just ask yourself right now, what do you do when you start getting stressed out? Because we all have these patterns and habits that we've built up over the years on how we respond to stress, but the problem is most of it has been unconsciously created. They've just been things that for whatever reason we did once and we found that it worked, so we just keep doing that, and it becomes this really unconscious habit that a lot of times really isn't serving you. So again, that question, what do you do when you are stressed out? And for a lot of people, so like for me, I notice one of my stress responses is I crave sugar. And I think that's something that's pretty inherent within human beings. For some reason, during times of high stress, we tend to crave sweet things. And another response that I've noticed is I just really crave video games. So for whatever reason, when I was younger, I guess one of the habits that I learned was that you know, diving into video games to respond to stress. And another thing that I notice is that really my cycle of moving into depression appears around stress. So it's like really high stress, and then I lose energy and I lose motivation to do things, and eventually all those things that were stressing me out just fall away because I haven't put any time into it. So in one sense, that is an effective strategy, right? It's getting rid of my stress, but on a bigger scale, it's really detrimental to my life, because what happens is, you know, I've gone through this cycle several times of starting things, getting really excited, getting things up to kind of the cusp of success, and then losing out on my motivation. So we all do have strategies that we've built up over the years for dealing with stress, but a lot of it, like I said before, is not productive, and a lot of it is really counterproductive to our stated life goals. But they're useful in the short sense, in the short term, because they do help alleviate that stress a lot of times at the cost of your success, at the cost of the things that you're trying to do. So a really key factor for building a happier, healthier, more successful life, I think, is to take control of your unconscious responses to stress and to turn them into conscious responses. So what that means for me is that whenever I'm starting to feel stressed now, traditionally what I would do is I would have a strong urge to play more video games. I would have a strong urge to sleep in, and I have a strong urge to just kind of let things drop and not do anything. I always had this idea that if I'm feeling stressed out, if I'm feeling overloaded, then I just need to take some time and just, you know, take the weekend off and just sleep all day and really not go out or do anything. But that response, I don't think, is really very useful, because I never feel more refreshed on Monday if I spent the whole weekend playing video games and staying up late and eating sugary foods and, you know, just eating junk food. That doesn't make me feel more refreshed, yet somehow that is my go-to response, is that whenever I'm feeling stressed out, for whatever reason, that is my go-to stress response. And so, you know, that's part of the reason why I'm out here hiking in the woods, is I'm taking conscious control now of my reactions to stress. I gotta cross this stream here, so I should probably turn the camera off, or at least really be careful with what I'm doing so I don't drop everything in the drink My feet are gonna have to get wet. That's pretty inevitable. Here, we'll do this. If I fall, at least it'll be on video. Wish I had my hiking poles. Right, so the key is to build a conscious response to stress. So here's 3 things that I found have been really effective for me for dealing with stress in a positive way, so that I don't just drop everything, so I don't kind of slip back into being unproductive and depressed. So number 1, being out in nature. There, just nature is profoundly healing, and it's profoundly stress relieving. And I feel already, about 100% better after being out here for about 2 hours. So that's number 1, get out in nature. Number 2 is to write down your thoughts, to just journal. There's something about putting pen to paper that focuses your mind, it focuses your attention, it clears your mind, so that if you spend half an hour writing down, just write a list like, what's stressing me out? What do I need to do? What are my priorities? Then it becomes very clear, right? 1, what your points of stress are. 2, what you can do about it. And then 3, what the next thing you need to do is. So then you can have a plan of action, and then all that feeling where your head is just spinning and you're not sure what's going on, you don't know what to do next, all of that goes away. What I've noticed is that the times when I feel the best is when I'm doing my morning meditations, when I'm exercising regularly, when I'm eating well, when I'm regularly getting out to nature, when I'm journaling and writing things down. And usually during these times I have just really high energy and I have lots of plans, and then I start to put the plans into action, and then usually my disciplines start to fall away because, right, there's just this lack of time. So then the morning meditations start to go. I come out to nature less because there's less time. My exercise routine starts to take a hit, and then pretty soon I start to lose my energy. I start to lose my drive and my motivation. And it's, looking at it now, it's so apparent that, well, duh, you can't give up all of the things that made you feel good whenever you start to become more productive. That doesn't make sense. You got to keep up these habits that brought you up to a good place. You can't just stop maintaining yourself. Really, the question becomes then, what do you do when life gets hard? Do you curl up and quit? Do you quit all those things that are causing you stress and trouble? Do you escape into video games and fatty foods and drugs and alcohol? Because really, those are kind of the preferred mechanisms for coping with stress for just a really good amount of our population. And I think that's why our population has so many issues, because we are using escapism and drugs and alcohol and just quitting whenever things get hard. But that, right, you can't do that if you want to really get anywhere in life. So that's the question, and that's the question you need to ask yourself, is what is your habits? What are your habits? What are your plans? What do you do when life gets hard? And then evaluate those. If your methods aren't working, then you need to change them. Otherwise, you're going to face the same loop over and over and over again. And so, for me, that means I am going to just consciously spend more time back on my really good disciplines of coming out into nature, of meditating, of journaling, and when life gets hard, I do those more, not less. So that's going to be my method. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about out here. My arm is getting real tired from holding this camera. Just ask yourself, what is your current stress strategy? Is it working for you? And if it isn't, then make just a new one. But the rain is starting to pick up a little bit. Almost finished with my hike here. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoy these Motivation Monday videos. I enjoy making them. If you have questions or comments, put them down below. Oh, I am going to start streaming Hearthstone and Gwent in the evenings. So that link to my Twitch channel will also be down below. Also, I'm going to start streaming a 30-day boot camp next week live in the mornings, so be on the lookout for that. that's about all the news I can think of. Again, thanks for watching, guys. Have an awesome day. Look at this. I get back to my car and the tire is flat. So I guess the universe is playing a little joke where it's saying, hey, you want to talk about dealing with stress? We're gonna put a hole in your tire and let's see how you deal with that stress. So I really gotta, I guess, you know, walk the talk. So the plan is I'm gonna change my tire right here. I have all the tools back in my trunk, and then I'll just go in and get it fixed. And then that'll be solved. So there's no reason to stress over that, right? Stress isn't gonna help anything. And I've just been out in the woods for like 3 hours. So overall, I feel pretty good. And I think that's another benefit of being out in nature, right? If I had encountered this after a day of being inside and cooped up and feeling bad, like I would have had a much different reaction to seeing a flat tire than after coming out here in the woods and, you know, letting all my stress out and being feeling really good. Now I come to the tire and said, okay, it's flat, but it's no big deal. I'll deal with it. I know how to deal with it. So just carry on. Just one of those things you got to deal with in life, and there's no reason to get upset or let it disturb you emotionally. So that's it for me. I gotta go fix this tire. Have a good one, guys.